So it starts off with the short Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach piece, which is a lovely little ditty. And then a Haydn sonata that's 19 minutes long, 3 movements. I'll tell you for each of the movements. Then a tiny little piece of Mozart, 2 minutes long, a fantasy. Then the longest piece of all is 15 variations by Beethoven. And that's 24 minutes. That's the longest one. It's 15 variations, mit einer Fuge at the end. So that's a long time. And then a tiny little piece, 2 minutes long, a little etude of Cramer. Now, were all of you here the last time I used this piano?
Yes.
Let's do the airway. Were some of you not here the last time when I played this piano? So most of you were here then. Okay, I just didn't know how much of an introduction I needed to give to the piano itself. But I can assume that you didn't all remember everything I said last night. This is a replica of a piano built by a man named Philip Belt, who was at the time living in Pawcatuck, Connecticut. And it was in 1979 that I had him build this instrument. And he's a wonderful builder. And I had written notes here that both Haydn and Beethoven owned a piano of the original. This was by Johann Schantz. And, forget that. That was something else. Okay, there are 5 octaves, it's 62 keys, as opposed to the 88 keys on the modern piano. The action is very light, but that doesn't mean it's very easy, because sometimes it's very hard to control things that are so light. You know, there's no feedback like that. It's you that are in control of all of that. This instrument was first used by Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach, the one whose little piece I'm going to play first. And an interesting thing about the sound is that it has register differences. The upper register, the soprano register, is like that. The bass register is really a bass register. Whereas in the modern piano, that's been all sort of evened out. So there are no 4 voice things. They're all just one voice. But here you do hear things in different voices. But particularly, the thing is that the bass voice is so almost raucous. The reasons for the invention of this were for a desire to have more tonal flexibility than the harpsichord, which preceded it, had. And I have a quote here from a man at the time who said, when speaking about this, his name, by the way, is C.P.E, and he was writing in 1711, and he says, "It is known to everyone who delights in music that one of the principal means by which the skillful in that art derive the secret of especially delighting those who listen in the piano and forte, soft and loud, or in the original diminution of tone, and then suddenly returning to the full power of the instrument, which artifice is frequently used and with marvelous effect in the great concerts of Rome. Now of this diversity and alteration of tone, in which instruments played with the bow especially excel, the harpsichord is entirely deprived, and it would have been a vain endeavor to propose to make it so that it should participate in this power." This is still quoting from this man. "Nevertheless, so bold an invention has been no less happily conceived than executed in Florence, Italy. The production of greater or less sound depends on the degree of power with which the player presses on the keys, by regulating which not only the piano and forte, the loud and soft, are heard, or the soft and loud, but also gradations and diversity of power, as on a cello. And so I'll start off with this little piece of C.P.E. Bach.